Somebody said they don't like my platform. Somebody said they don't like my platform. I find that when fighting for black people, when you are fighting for black people, your number one enemy is going to be black people. People are telling me they don't like my platform. They don't like my approach. And I'm going to be a Pan-African anyway. You don't tell someone that you love the truth because you want them to love you back. You tell them the truth because you love them. That's all I need to do. I need to love myself. I need to have self-respect. And I need to have respect for my people. I need to love my community. And I need to tell y'all the truth. If that means I lose TikTok followers, so be it. I'm building with B1 Initiative Foundation. I'm building a nonprofit 501c3 to teach black people that same self-love, that same self-respect, and that same truth that was stolen from them. I think black people can find love in IR relationship. It is complicated, but it's part of the process. Define love. So what is your truth? I don't speak from personal experience on these lives. I only speak from knowledge. I don't speak about my personal truth. I speak from knowledge. We can save anecdotes for another time. Nothing was stolen from you. No one can steal emotions from someone. I don't know what that means, Orion. I don't know who you're talking to. Black women should divest. Then why the hell are you here? If that's how you feel. Divesting means to walk away from the community, right? So if you feel that way, walk your ass out my Black Live. Share your knowledge with the class, if you please. Share my knowledge about what? What would you like to know? I would actually like to know some of your knowledge. Anyone that wants to come up, you can. We are at 2.4K likes. Once we get over 2K, we can have people come up. Mason is a disruptor, so this person can go. Bye-bye. We're not doing that. We're not doing that whole divestors, passport bros. We ain't doing that. What did we come here? What did I say we doing here? I said self-love. Says self-love, love for your community. Ubuntu is the Bantu African word for it. I am who I am because of who we all are. I don't got time for divestors. If you want to divest, go tell the people you divest into that you divested, and let me know how that works out for you. Let me know how that works out for you. If that's something that's make a positive change in your life, then by all means, go ahead and divest. But why are you coming back to the community and telling us that you divesting? What point is how was that constructive? As a black woman, I would only date Latino. That's as far as I will go outside of black. And I mean black Latino. Okay, you fixed it with the second one, Brittany. You fixed it with the second one, Brittany. I'm about to tell you, horchata is just as white as milk. Let's not do that. You fixed it with that second one. Some of y'all like horchata. You know what I'm saying? Some of y'all like crema queso. Y'all like, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Queso is just as bad as provolone. Let's keep it a band. queso fresca, whatever they be. Some of y'all think horchata tastes better than milk. No thanks, I love my black men. Absolutely, we love you too, sister. That's what we here to do. We here to spread love. Spread love, I hear that. I am like the triple K, I stick with my own. You don't gotta be like them. All you gotta do is be like an African. But we hear you. That's good. The triple K stick with their own because they're afraid. We are afraid to stick with our own. We need to stick with each other because we in love. The triple K stay away from all other races because they're afraid. We ain't afraid. We're afraid to be together. So we the opposite. We need to come together out of love. Love for ourselves. That's all I'm talking about. I'm talking about love of yourself. Do you love yourself? Do you love yourself? Do I look like I could be your brother? Do I look like I could be your son? Do I look like I could, be your cousin, your nephew? When you look at me, do you see yourself at all? If that's the case, then love anyone that is a reflection of you, because you are worth being loved. You are worth finding someone that when they look at themselves with love, they see you as a reflection of that as well. That's all it is. Envy not thy oppressor and choose none of their ways. I heard that, Brittany. That's very well put, Brittany. That's very well put. Jerica says, love is not a color. Neither is orange. Orange is a fruit. Love is not a color, and orange is a fruit. Look at that, y'all. We both learning things today. Shout out to everybody that's learning things today. So why are you anti-Wahite? Who told you that? Who told you I'm anti-anything? I'm lost in what, Jay? What am I lost in? Please enlighten me. What have I said on this live so far that is lost? All I talked about was self-love and self-respect. Where have I said I was against anyone else? And where have I said anything that is lost? Could someone please help me? Didn't I say self-love, self-respect? When a black man speaks on self-love and self-respect, is that a sign that he's lost? Is that a sign that he's hostile? Is that a sign that he's adversarial to some other group? I'm white. My husband is black. Married 32 years. People are people. I think that's weird when people say people are people when we're talking about race, because black people for so long were not considered people. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of interesting when people say people are people when we're talking about race, because black was deemed inhuman. And I would continue to say that they're still treated as inhuman to this day. So it's interesting when they say people are people, as if we needed a reminder that we're people. Did y'all know that? Black people are people, y'all. Did you know? We're finding out things today. Orange is a fruit. When people say black is just a color, orange is just a fruit. However, orange is a color too, actually. To be honest, orange is a color. But when we're talking about fruit salad and I say there's oranges in it, you know I ain't talking about no damn color. You know I ain't talking about no color. When we're talking about race, a social construct that is oppressive towards black people, you know we ain't talking about colors. We talking about people. But then people come up and say, People are people. That don't make no sense. Host, do you think IR relationships are wrong? I'm not here to judge right and wrong. I'm not here to. Do I look like Jared Leto? Do I look like Jared Leto to you? Do I look like Jared Leto? Do I look like um what y'all have been taught Jesus looks like? To tell you who's right and wrong? Do I look like Jared Leto, Jesus? Telling you going to hell or going to heaven if you do what I say? I didn't come up here to talk about right and wrong. I just came up here to ask questions. And that's all we gonna do. I'm gonna go to the guests. We're gonna talk about a few things. Tap the like down below. Don't forget to keep tapping like. Please mute up on the panel. We're gonna let you get a chance to speak your piece. Appreciate y'all for coming up. I'm gonna switch the layout back. Okay. All right. So let's talk about it, y'all. Casper, could you give us your age, race, and pronouns, please?
Say that again.
Your age? How old are you?
Oh, me?
Yes.
I'm as old as the universe, bro.
All right. So let's not start the conversation off being obtuse. This is the part of the conversation where we ask 3 questions just to get a background on who you are. To put you
Yeah,
on
my name,
timeline.
I go by Casper on here. I'm from Michigan, United States citizen, and I'm a free American.
All right. None of those are questions I asked. Are you over 18, Casper?
35 and thrive.
All right. And your race?
Human.
That's not a race.
What's the human race?
Human is not a race. It's actually a
That
species.
word exists.
It's a
The
species,
human
though.
race.
I
Yeah,
know, but that's
that's who I am. That's who I identify as.
okay.
I don't do your all's color shit.
Oh, mine? Oh, it's ours now?
Yeah, you're keeping it rolling, right? So you own it now, right?
I keep it rolling? You know what? Next time I get pulled over by a police officer, I'm going to stop it from rolling and see how he feels about me then. I didn't know. This whole time, y'all, my bad, y'all. It was me. Who who would have thought? It was me this
Just
whole
as
time.
many,
I've been
just as
keeping
many
it
white
rolling.
people are accosted
I've been
by
keeping it rolling this
police.
whole time. Casper is a ghost. We gonna keep it pushing. King, give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
33, black, male. 30.
All right. Talk to us, bro.
Yeah, I was looking at some of the comments when you were speaking, and I was seeing people pointing out, oh yeah, I have a black friend and I'm married to a black person, that type of that type of thing. And I'm like, that's nice and all, but that's personal. As a collective, your group doesn't operate like that. So your personal relationship is kind of irrelevant to the topic. Like when somebody says, "Oh, I have a black friend," or "I have a black boyfriend or a black girlfriend," that's cool, but that's personal. That's not as a collective. That's not how your group operates. So unfortunately, that's great for you. I wish your whole group would operate like that, but unfortunately, they don't, historically and presently. So that's kind of irrelevant. But can black people find love in IR relationships? They can, maybe, but I don't see the benefit to it.
Mm,
So if you're trying to fix your community,
mm,
I would think you would need to date within your community to get better relationships. You get better relationships, you get stronger families. You get stronger families, you get a better community. So
mm-hmm,
dating outside the community is, I don't see the benefit in that.
mm-hmm. Now, why should we, as black people, do what's beneficial?
I mean, everybody else does. When Chinese are for Chinese, nobody has a problem. Pride and self. Clap, round of applause. Same thing for Indians, Arabs, and then so for so. But when we do it, it's more so. Well, why can't you just be colorblind? Why can't you be what's the word they use? Multiculturalist.
Mm,
Nobody else does that, but we do. But the reason why we do it is because when your self-esteem and pride and self is so low, you want to be with other people, as opposed to if you have high pride and self, you don't care to be with other people. A la the Chinaman, he don't care to date other people or with any other community. He want to be with his own, and that's it. That's the mindset we got to get to, and that starts with loving and dating your own. And we have so many variety, by the way, like American, African, Caribbean, South America, Black UK. We got so much variety to pick from in all shades and sizes. And so for you to go outside the community, I'm going to look at you a little weird.
I heard that. All right, brother. You got the Malcolm avatar on his page. I seen somebody be problematic with that same picture, so I'm glad you representing what you practice what you preach, hopefully, but you at least representing Malcolm well, so that's good, brother. Thank you for that word. I'm gonna go to the next guest, wholesome me something. Give us your age, race, and pronoun.
27, AA, and Mel.
All right, talk to us.
So I actually don't agree with everything that he said. So I used to believe in the idea of like pro-black, right? So I used to believe that like the most important thing that I should be fixated on is my race. Um,
What changed your mind?
I realized that I had other values that mattered more than my race. So like obviously I think if I find a significant other who happens to be, I don't know, have the similar value system, but they're not black, I think that matters more because my goal is to raise healthy, full-rounded, and well-rounded children, open-minded children.
So you can't do that within the black community?
I don't think that should be the primary reason why I'm dating, right? Like you could do that with a black person or a Caribbean person or a person of color, but at the end of the day, that's not my primary focus. If my values matter more than my race to me.
So
My religion matters more than my race to me too.
how are you going to raise a healthy child with a non-black spouse?
Again, it goes, like I said, it goes to my value system more than my race. So if I feel like the values that I have, my significant other also has, when we raise our children will then have that value system.
So the value system will be complicity in black oppression?
No, I don't think that's not a value that I hold dear.
And then if you're not complicit, then that means that you're going to want to align your values with something that would maximize or bring progress to black people in some way.
Yeah, I think the progress for black people is to really fixate on our
So how are
values.
you going to bring progress to black people with a non-black spouse?
What do you mean? How could you not?
How could you do that with someone that's not part of the black community?
Because I'm still a part of the black community. My complexion or my race has not changed because I dated someone outside of my race. It doesn't change.
Yeah, but your ability to prioritize the black community changes.
But the thing is it's like I was going to mention this too, is we are individuals. So what we do within ourselves, it matters more. How am I going to me having a black
I'm gonna stop you right there because individualism, if you look at the history of individualism, individualism is actually a Eurocentric concept. So you can't liberate black people using European ideals. And plus, at the same time, YT people are the only people that can benefit from even engaging in a concept like individualism because they benefit from the entirety of YT supremacist constructs. So they have the luxury of participating in individualism, but brother, you don't.
I disagree with that.
Hey,
You can
Hosom.
disagree, but the truth is the truth. You do
Yeah.
not benefit from it,
Yeah,
and you never will, no matter how much you want to.
I think one could benefit greatly.
please do better than I disagree and I agree. We're not here to agree. We're here to actually speak, and have a constructive conversation. So tell us why you disagree or why you agree. Don't just say I agree or disagree.
Yeah. So I disagree because I do think that in order to change the community, we have to change ourselves, which is an individual concept. So it doesn't matter if I date somebody who happens to be black and my value system is rooted in, I don't know, anti-blackness or anything. Just because I'm black does not fix the community. What fixes the community is the values and the importance of what we put for our foundation will be the thing that changes the black community. You dating within
Okay.
with you dating within the race of a black person to have another black child is also very beautiful. But if that child has corrupt morals or doesn't value their blackness or don't have a standard or I guess an uplifting value system, it doesn't really matter what race that child is. It's automatically going to send back to the same issues we've been having within the community.
So do you value blackness?
Yeah, I value my blackness.
But do you value blackness in general?
Yes, my foundation of being black was being pro-black.
So then why would you not value a black spouse?
Who said I didn't value a black spouse?
You did. You said that you care more about your personal values than your community. So my thing is, if you open up, the definition of pro-blackness to including outside, members, people of other communities, um, you know, how can you say you value blackness but not align yourself with what you value? Because you said personally your values was what you were about. Then you said you value blackness. So why would you not value blackness or seek someone that has that value that you hold so dear? That value being a black spouse.
So that's my initial point. I never denounced that I value blackness. What I said was that I value my value system more than my race.
Okay. The
So
question,
where do you?
wholesome question for you. You said you value your like religion, etc., and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, I'm religious.
But here's the difference though. Here's the thing you're missing. The creator of all, God, whatever you want to call him. Guess what? You can change your religion tomorrow. If you don't like your job, you can change that. There's one thing that he made you that you can't change. I don't care how much bleach skin you do. I don't care how much perms you get. There's one thing that you can't.
Yeah. And now go ahead, brother.
You can change it. You can change your religion, but you can't change your race.
Yep. I can be a
That
Buddhist tomorrow if I wanted to. If I all of a sudden randomly decided, like, oh, Buddhism is the way, I could do that. I could be a Christian again tomorrow if I decided to, but
That's my
I'll
point.
never do that because I read books that were outside of the constructs of the Bible.
But guess what? The person that made you, that's responsible for making you, he
Yeah, but where does
purposely
your
he purposely
understanding?
or he purposely made it to
Where
where you
does your
can't
under?
change your race.
Where does your understanding of who made you come from? Does it come from Abrahamic religions? Is that where you're talking about that value system? Does it come from Islam? Does it come from Christianity?
None of the religions matter. You can't change your race. That's my point.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I mean, I think you guys are kind of missing the point, but
No, the only one missing the point is you, wholesome. But
I
I,
don't think that
I,
I'm missing the point. I think
you
that I
definitely are because you're not
how am
listening.
I missing the
You're
point?
just trying to respond. Using religious dogma is not going to phase us.
I
I
didn't
have
mention religion.
you. I thought you just said you was religious.
No, I said that my value system, if it is religious, I never said that.
If it is religious, okay. So, what is your value system that is so important? Please.
I mean, my value system is my value system. It's not anything that I think you
What
would.
is what is when you see a woman and you decide that you want to approach her for a relationship? What value do you hold so dear above the liberation of yourself from oppression that is so important that you can find it and see it and value it and say, you know what, I want to be with this person? Like, what is this value? I need to know.
I mean, I don't really understand why that would matter.
Because if you're saying that your
Yeah,
value system is more
really
important
quickly.
than
If
your
you're
race,
one
if
second,
you're
Timothy.
saying, well, hold on. If you're saying that your race isn't as important as your value system, then it matters where you're getting your value system from. It matters to the conversation, especially if we're talking about you claiming to be pro-black. Because if your value system, again, is more important than your race, than being black, then that in and of itself is
It's not
anti-black.
right. That's anti-black. That's not pro-black. Pro-blackness is prioritizing one's actions and values with what's in the best interest of building within the black community. If you prioritize anything above that, you're not pro-black immediately by definition. So that means you're pro your own values. Like you said many times, we understand that. My thing is, what is this value system that you can't find in the black community, or that you need to open up outside the black community other options because this value is more important? If it is some sort of religion given to you by a colonizer, then my friend, you are just doing exactly the reason that they introduced you to that religion in the first place. I pray it's not something that is based on the King James Version Bible, because that would just be, too annoying. I honestly, I get so tired of y'all. But
Well, let me ask two questions because I think that I just want to make sure that I'm understood. When I came into the live, the first thing I said was I used to believe in the notion of being pro-black. Did I say that, Brother Legend?
mhm.
And I also mentioned having a black offspring with corrupt values and corrupt morals. Also, it's
That's a
problematic.
bad faith. That's a
Hold on.
bad faith argument. I don't like it when
How
people
don't you like
talk
it?
about
I'm asking the
blackness in
question.
bad faith. But I don't like. But that's a leading question. That's not a
No,
that's
but
not
that's no that
that's not
goes.
an actual question.
But that
That's,
does it does.
yeah, yes, it
I'm
is,
asking.
because
Did I say that?
that's like if someone says, "Would you like a cup of water?" And that's like, sometimes I don't like a cup of water because I can drown. Like, it's like you're making this a bad faith
No,
conversation
but
when you
I
do
was
that.
asking you. Did you remember me saying that? I'm not saying you agree or disagree. I'm saying, do you remember me saying that?
Oh, okay. Saying what?
That the values that having just a black child and they have bad morals and bad values is just as detrimental to the black community. Is what I was saying. So do you remember me saying that? So nowhere in my conversation did I say that having a non-black spouse is more important. I was just saying that I value someone who has a similar value system than me just having a black child. That's all that I said. I
So
didn't say
again,
anything. I didn't
where
hold on
is your value system coming
He's
from?
not going to answer that
Yeah, I'm
because
not
he's
going to
being
answer because
vague.
that's
He's
irrelevant.
being
If your
vague.
value
No, it's
system,
not. It's relevant. He's being vague and willfully obtuse. We got other people up here. Let's just keep it pushing. He's just being vague. We asked him that like 4 or 5 times. What is
Yep.
this value system that is more important than your people? And he cannot answer that. Like I don't like. Basically, that brother is swimming in the milk. He loves powdered donuts, and that's what he want to do. So if you want to do that, cool. Don't come up here and try to be willfully obtuse and vague and saying, all this other stuff. Like, we trying to have an actual conversation. I'm not going to say that word because you're going to get me in trouble.
That's all right, bro.
P Huckett, yeah, give us your age, race, and pronoun.
I'm 31. I'm black, and he, him.
All right,
Can you hear me?
talk to us, family. Yeah.
Yeah. I will say, me personally, nah, it's not for me. If somebody, for other people, if that's the way they go, that's their business. But me personally, nah, bro, it's not really for me. Um, and I only say this because it's the history. The history, like history, shows us like what it is and what it has been and what it's actually going to continue to be. And I would feel like I'm doing myself a disservice if I was like to completely go outside of my race, honestly. I am also like Afro Latino because I'm like Puerto Rican as well. So there's an indifference because I wouldn't mind dating another Hispanic woman, but I would prefer them to be Afro Latina as well. But as far as it goes, it's not really for me, bro. I think it's
Why?
like I said. What's up?
Why would you prefer an Afro Latino woman or a black woman just in general?
For one, that's just what I'm attracted to overall. That's just me. If when I say that's what I'm attracted to overall. Um, that's what I want. That's what I prefer, and that's what I relate to. And I think it has a lot to do with relatability. My current girlfriend, she's black, and so and me living in the South when I have experiences, because I lived in New York, right? So I'm used to diversity of all races and things like that. But when I moved to the South, bro, it's a total different ball game down here. Just the way people act, the way they look at you, you could feel like the dehumanization and stuff like that. And I'm not trying to get involved in a situation personally where I have to educate other people on our experiences or our experiences as a whole collectively. Like it's already there. It's been proven. It's been shown. I don't think I have any reason to actually educate people anymore on those type of topics anymore. It's either you see it or you don't.
Mm. Okay.
Yeah,
Well, yeah. Well, I don't got time for it either. I hear you.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
You explaining all this stuff to them for what? You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
We you could build with a sister, and she understands stuff that you don't. It don't even need to be explained. You know what I'm saying? So I absolutely agree with that. And big up to my Afro Latino brothers and sisters, Afro Latinas. You know what I'm saying? I understand that Hispanic is an ethnicity, Latino is an ethnicity, and Black is a race. And shout out to all the brothers and sisters down there that stand in 10 toes in their African identity.
Appreciate that.
Absolutely. I'm gonna go to the next guest. Don't forget to keep tapping like, y'all. We almost at 10K. Keep tapping like. Let's get to 10K. Don't forget to gift the panel. You know what I'm saying? Send some gifts. Let the algorithm know that you're getting something from the live. We're gonna go to the next guest now. Zaina, give us your age, race, and pronouns. Zaina, are you with us? You're muted.
Hold on. Take someone else real quick because I need to find my charger.
Okay. King Gino, give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
Said the last part. I didn't hear the last part.
Your age, your race, and your pronouns.
I'm 40 years old. I'm a black man, and I prefer to be with a black woman overall. I'm gonna explain why real quick. The other race would never understand our struggle, for one thing. Secondly, there's nothing from that other race that can do something better for black folks. You know what I'm saying? Being with the opposite race is not gonna make you a better black man or a better black woman. I mean, it might have its conveniences here and there, but it's more inconveniences than it is conveniences, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanna get on the record to say, ain't nothing in this world better than a black woman. See, God don't make no mistakes. You know, that's why he said to be equally yoked with who you supposed to be with. You know, if you equally yoked with your black woman, your black sister, you don't have nothing to worry about. You don't have to worry about in the back of your head them plotting or thinking certain things. The way they grew up is probably similar to the way you grew up. So you're gonna have more similarities than anything else. But even more than that, you know, I take my hat off to my real sisters, all the sisters. And God don't make no mistake. That's why the black woman's potency, the way she is, the strength of a black woman, you can't put a price on that. You
Mm-hmm.
can't put a price on that. You can't put a price on what black women do and what they stand for. So those are my thoughts on it. I don't want to take too much more time. I know you got a lot of people waiting on it, but I wanna put that on for the record. Shout out to all the black queens out there and the black kings that are married to black queens and the black kings that's awaiting they black queens.
Mm-hmm.
And shout out
Absolutely.
to you, brother legend. I appreciate that, man.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you coming up and spreading that love to the queens, man.
No
Shout
doubt.
out to the black women that are watching the panel, man. You know, we black men owe an allegiance to black women, not in just terms of love and proximity to us and just for that, but solely for holding it down. We recognize y'all as the powerful creators of mankind. You know what I'm saying? Our culture was deeply rooted in having an egalitarian society where there's balance between both masculine and feminine energies. So again, expect that loyalty from black men. Never take it for granted. You know what I'm saying? And understand that any black man that doesn't have an allegiance to the black woman doesn't have an allegiance to himself. And that's what's most important. Black men, we have to love ourselves. We have to see black women not as outside of us, but um, Ayanna Vazan says, I'm not my sister. I'm not my sister's keeper. I am my sister. And black men, that's how we need to look at black women. So, you know what I'm saying? Get you one of these, black men. I need to do one. I need to do that. I need to do that. Have black men that are married to a black woman come on up here and get you one of these. Show it
Yeah.
off,
Love
man.
it.
And I will say it got to be something about like to a black man and a black woman. It has to be something about it that the people that be the powers that be that don't want to see it, because you said something very specific, and I don't know when. I want to say within the past couple years I hadn't noticed it. Two things I noticed that a lot of the times you don't see any black heterosexual relationships on mainstream media, and
Mm-hmm.
you don't, and if you do, it's like a very effeminate man in some type of way, and a very like masculine woman,
Mm-hmm.
and it's so consistent. And it's funny, when you said it's 6% of black women that are
Yep.
dating outside of the race, but that's what's portrayed in the media, and I was just like, damn, I didn't put the two together. I seen it, but
Yeah.
I didn't put the two together. And then on top of that, just to see that like we don't really see a lot of in the mainstream media heterosexual men who are just good men overall in mainstream media. If you do see a black man, it's always like a hyper masculine black man, and he's always the villain in some form of way. And it's something that I've noticed within the past couple of years. And I say it's like I said, there's something about it, about us being together, that they don't want for it to not be shown in front of us consistently.
We're the only people in the United States who at one point it was illegal for us to get married.
Yep.
We're the only people who were intentionally, our families were intentionally separated because they knew that a strong family unit meant that we could revolt against our master.
Mm-hmm.
So choosing to love each other, choosing intentionally to build and come together with our sisters is one of the most revolutionary things. It's one of the easiest revolutionary things that we can do.
It
Um,
is. And I do have a problem when I hear like other black men and stuff like that, like the red pill community. They be like, "Oh, black women are like too masculine and stuff." And to me, I'm just like, "Nah, bro, you just not masculine enough in yourself. You not strong within yourself. You need to go learn a martial art or something." Because I because I box, right? And so what I learned from boxing, and I compete in amateurs, and it's like you get a once you get be consistent and you start to get good, like you start to develop a sense of self-confidence, and
mm,
all that other stuff about like other people being masculine. You're not too worried about no man or woman coming at you crazy, because you know you could defend yourself. And I
mm.
think that also has a big plays a big part in where we're at right now. A lot of people, a lot of black men honestly don't know how to truly defend themselves, and I think that brings out some sort of insecurity within themselves.
If I may ask, shouldn't you already have that? Rather, if they're
Wait, hold
black
on,
women.
David. Hold on, David. We're gonna get to you in a moment. Everybody has to introduce themselves. P. Huckett, were you finished?
Shit, he threw me off. But just saying, like, if you just confident in yourself, bro. From what I've noticed, if you confident in yourself, you build yourself up. You focus on yourself, especially if you're single. Like the universe gonna bring the woman that you want and that you need right to you,
Mhm.
bro. You know, but
Right.
you gotta be able to stand down on business in your own right. No woman wants a weak man. You know, if you have belief system, you gotta stand on that. You can't be flip flopping and all that other stuff, bro. Like you can't be like on some Charlemagne type stuff. You gotta stand strong, bro.
And that's something that comes from our oppressor as well. Ideas of masculinity and femininity, looking a certain way, comes from Europeans. In Africa, we were taught to have balance of
Hmm.
masculine and feminine energies.
Right.
And look at our hair, look at our hairstyles. When you know about African history, you know that every African hairstyle is unisex, whether it's locks, afros, shoot,
Hmm.
even having all your hair chopped off is unisex. Even having a bald head, sisters out here with a bald head, they fine. Shout out to them fine bald head sisters. You know what I'm saying? So that's something that we need to work on. And like you said, it does come back to self. Comes back to self-love. And that's the thing. We as black men have been taught manhood by our oppressor. And we need to redefine it back to our original manhood in the African sense. And then we'll find liberation. That's real. Let me go to this next guest. David, give us your age, your race, and your pronouns, please.
My name is David Williams. I'm 25, and he am.
Talk to us, brother.
Um, just like the whole thing, just can black people find love in interracial relationships? I think yes. Honestly, think so. I think you can. Um, as a young age as me, I'm 25. Uh, my partner, she is white. We've been dating for 5 years, and I think she's one of the best person I ever met. That's not saying that I haven't experienced with any black women at the time, but I'm young, and areas, your area where you're from, does matter in circumstances and how you grew up. And so, I think personally for me, when I'm growing up, I grew up in both black loving households and everything like that. So it was never taught you need a black partner. It was always taught find somebody that will treat you good, respect you, and love you, rather they're black or white. But it can be blah blah blah. But I seen black love. I seen what it takes to have a great marriage. So
All right, so let me use a metaphor real quick that I like to kind of explain what this brother just said. If a man is in a furnace, a fiery furnace, and the furnace is all the way turned up. I know some of y'all ex-Christians or Christians in here know what I'm talking about. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were thrown into a fiery furnace. So let's say a man is in a fiery furnace, right? And he wants to pick his nose. Instead of getting out of the fiery furnace where his body is being burned, he decides he wants to pick his nose. Does that man have a right to pick his nose? David, would you say that that man has a right to pick a booger out of his nose while his butt is being burned?
I mean, yeah,
Right, absolutely. No one's going to say that he's wrong for picking his nose. No one can say he doesn't have a right to pick his nose. And someone said in the comment, yes, but it's a dumb choice. What
exactly.
makes what makes it dumb is that that man is in an environment that is adversarial to his own survival. That he's in an environment of harm, and so if he's in an environment of harm, anything that he does that is not to mitigate the effects of that harm or to free himself and liberate himself out of that furnace is a misstep. Why in the hell are we talking about anything other than what's constructive to our liberation as a people? Do you believe black oppression still exists, David?
Absolutely.
Okay. So then every aspect of your life should be towards the liberation. It should be a goal in your mind to get as far away from white supremacy and hostility, because we do live in an inherently hostile anti-black world. So you as a black person should prioritize removing yourself as far away from that hostility as possible. How are you going to do that if you are hugged up with the flames?
But you alluding to that someone's partner, if they're not with the same race, is their situation is more impactful into their life, is more worse. So you're alluding to that just because I'm with the white person that my ass is on fire. My life is on fire.
Oh no, no, your ass is on fire because you black.
Yeah, but
Your
it's
ass is on fire because you black and born in this world.
yes, but then you got to think about the situations, how you grew up, and have you seen? Has it impacted your viewpoint? My views, how you view things, how I view things, how I grew up is
Does
totally
it
different.
matter? Does it matter how the man's ass is on fire and how he views his ass being on fire? If he is in a fiery furnace burning up, why does it matter what his perspective is? Why does it matter what his perspective is on the world? The world is not burning, he is. So if you are on fire and your goal is not to run into some water, open up the door of the furnace and step your behind out, do something,
Mm.
then that is illogical. That means that you are ignoring harm being done to you, and that's a form of psychosis. And to say that you are so tired of hell that you'll be with the devil himself is, problematic.
I'm curious to, with all this political stuff going on, like let's say, because I'm not really invested as far as the presidential election. I'm more focused on my local officials. And I'm curious, like when you have a whole group just trying to present Project 2025, and I think in there somewhere, like they ain't even trying to have interracial relationships going on. Like, how are people planning on dealing with that if something like that is implemented?
What are they saying about interracial relationship? You said going on?
No, no, no. Like I think they may like be trying to ban it. I'm not 100% sure. I think I heard it like
That
just.
would be the, I think, dumbest thing that they could do for themselves.
Who you telling?
But
Mitch McConnell said he don't agree with it, and this man's
of
married to
course
a
he
whole
don't.
Asian woman. Like
Of
it don't
course
make any sense.
they introduced interracial relationships so brothers like David could come up here and defend white people in a pro-black space, because it tells David that you speak on our behalf, defend us, even when y'all are talking about coming together and liberating yourselves. We can now have infiltrators in amongst them that feel an allegiance to us, so much so that when they talk about liberation, one of them will chime in and say, "No, I think that there are some nice ones, there's some good ones,"
But that's
and
not what I. That's
and
not what I
and and
said.
that's the thing. At no point in our history did black people decide that they was going to march, they was going to get. Actually, they didn't get dogs sicked on them. They didn't have hoses sicked on them. They weren't spit on at lunch countertops because they wanted interracial relationships. Where was these protests at? Where was it? It didn't happen. Why did we have to get dogs sick on us in order to end the institution of slavery? Why were dogs sicked on us when we wanted to sit at the lunch counter with white people? Why was dogs sicked on us when we wanted to share bathrooms and wanted to vote? But for some reason, interracial relationship came free of charge. We didn't have to.
Easy too.
It was real easy, right? A white man decided he wanted to marry him, a black woman, and because of them, Loving versus Virginia is passed in 1967. We didn't have to fight for it. Does your oppressor give you things freely? Whenever your oppressor gives you things freely, whenever you go to you've been accused of a crime, and the police officer walk into the interrogation room with donuts, and you start eating, and
Don't
everything
eat them
seems fine.
donuts.
You see what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
when they start, they're not going to give you nothing to liberate you. And the only time they came up with Loving versus Virginia was after black men and black women decided that they wanted black power. And so they decided that they would show black men that instead of finding black power in their own community, they could have the current power structure work on their behalf and feel accepted by, assimilating and being with a white woman. So, that's the reason for all of that. The white woman her role has been consistent in racism, white supremacy. Her role is to take brothers like David and stop them from having an allegiance to joining together, banding together with black people, and having allegiance towards doing something productive and getting our ass about this fiery furnace, but instead to disrupt and get you to have an allegiance to your oppressor at the same time.
Well,
Very
I
interesting.
will. Yeah, what I will say is that what I have noticed, and this could be anecdotal, is that when it comes to interracial relationships, no matter who's the race, one of the parties have to assimilate or do assimilate.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't a unification of both cultures naturally. From what I've seen and experienced, is always one is just fully indulging themselves in the other person's culture. There's no true unity of bringing both cultures together,
Mm-hmm.
honestly, in my opinion, from what I've experienced and seen. And other people could disagree, and that's fine. But that's from what I've seen. And somebody's going to assimilate. There's not going to be any true balance within that relationship.
The black man or the black woman is going to assimilate, or the white man or white woman is going to appropriate. That's the only way to go. That's the only way to move forward.
If I could speak on this, so at least like
Before you start, Jelly,
what?
give us your
Oh,
age,
what's
race,
up?
and pronoun, please.
Yeah, 24, black, and pronouns are he, him.
All right, talk to us.
Yeah. So like at least from what I've seen, like, and this could obviously be like a generational thing in like what I've experienced. When it comes to interracial relationships, like it's at least from like my interactions, it's a lot. It's just been a lot of people like this is just a relationship. This is just somebody I'm compatible with. But I can see how like there have been like a lot of weird like because there's a lot of fucking weird people that I'm sorry if like cursing's not allowed, but it's that fetishize. I've had experiences with like chicks that didn't like I didn't date, but like they were fetishizing their husband. Like it was this one like small Latina chick. She was like, "Oh, I like big black men," and I'm thinking like, well, "Why the fuck are you telling me this shit?" Like shit like that. Like I think it makes it harder for people to like actually find love in these relationships when really like what a relationship should be is you should obviously be finding somebody you're compatible with and that's at least in terms of like America throughout like American history obviously that's going to be like somebody that's closer to your race.
Can I say something too? What he just said,
Okay. Yeah, go ahead. Talk to us, David.
like what he said, because we both around the exact same age. So I'll be honest, like because we both he's 24, I'm 25. I feel like how our generation is who you vibe with, who respects you and everything like that. Yeah, you're gonna meet people that have fetishes. You gotta let them know like that's not cool and everything like that. But I think especially how our generation is, how it's coming, how I grew up is who you vibe with, who you kick with. Um,
Well, who taught you that? And why? And how does that benefit you in a fiery furnace?
like you say, who will talk? Well, for
Yeah. Who
instance,
who who
uh,
who, who would benefit from you feeling like it's not constructive for you to liberate yourself or from a fiery furnace? I'm using this metaphor.
I don't really like that
Who,
furnace because you're trying to do like a trauma basis and trying to say
no,
I'm not
no, no.
trauma.
What I'm really
It's like
saying,
some
black
type
man,
of
what I'm
gaslight
really, what I'm
situation.
really saying, black man, is that you are in an environment that is hostile towards your blackness.
But
You said so yourself
I think
that
if
you
it's
believe
hostile,
black oppression exists.
I think it's
You
very
said
hostile
so
to your.
yourself that you believe black oppression exists. That means that you are in an environment that is hostile towards blackness. Just like a furnace that is hostile towards your well-being, you live in an environment where you have to think when you get pulled over, oh man, let me take my license and registration out now before he come over here and think I'm reaching for something else. You have to think, you have to be mindful of your race, you have to be mindful of how you present. So that being the case, you live in a furnace. That's
If I
how
could
we
If
also
talking.
I'm
So
being
we
if I could
honest,
talk
also
to
comment.
yeah.
we
Hold
If I'm
on,
talk
being
hold
to
on
honest,
one second.
that is
Wait,
living out
hold
the
on,
vibe.
David. Before you say
Hold,
something,
yeah.
hold on. Actually, what I wanted to like, all right. The problem is that it sounds like David doesn't understand that there very much so are systems and constructs that are currently happening right now to the detriment of black people. David, in 2020, over 90,000 black women and black girls were reported missing. 40% of human trafficking victims are black women and black girls, even though they only make up 7% of the U.S. population.
I definitely know. I have my
Children,
calculations in
black
front of me. Definitely,
children, right?
definitely.
Black children are the most likely demographic to be unalived when cared for by predominantly YT staff while they're in the hospitals. Black women are the most likely demographic to be unalived when cared for by predominantly YT staff. Between 1960 to 2010, there was a research paper that came out that showed that black men are 21 times more likely to be pew-pewed by the police than YT men. Black men are one third of black men can expect to spend time in jail. Also, it was showing that of the brothers that accumulated wealth, the minute that you interact with so-called the justice system, you immediately are on average given basically it's like a 70% reduction in your ability to be able to accumulate top tier, like higher upper class wealth status. Like these are all very real things that are happening right now. There's also another research paper that talks about, or another survey that talks about how roughly 9% of Americans believe that it's okay to have neo-schmatzy ideas, and it's okay to talk about it. And if we take that 9% and equate it to the 300 plus million that exist in America, that means that over 26 million people, or over 20 million people, think it's okay to hold those ideas. That's a whole country. That over 20 million people, that's a whole country, and they scattered about all across. So you're going to see them in every area of your life. You're less likely to gain access to employment opportunities. You're less likely to gain access to being shown housing. You're less likely to be gaining access to economic opportunities. And you really think you ain't in a furnace right now?
yeah, it's even in like the smaller things too, with like just day to day interactions. Like even when you achieve that, like it's you can you can sense the shit, and like the fact that it gets indefinitely worse too is like the bigger thing where it's like, yeah, this, even if like for some people it may not be like, oh yeah, like I don't experience this as much, like it just gets infinitely worse, and it can happen to you at any point.
Mm. All right,
Hey,
yeah.
legend.
Speak to us, sister. What's going on? Peace.
Oh, nothing. And sorry about earlier. I just got to redo my whole phone because, but
Yeah,
anyways,
I'm gonna call you sometime this weekend, and we'll just do it together.
okay, okay.
Yeah, we had
So,
a nice
David
weekend.
Young,
Oh,
did
go ahead.
you? Oh,
Yes,
There
man.
was a
Yes,
lot of
man.
people in there today. It was, but
Yes, man.
Really?
they'll be back. They'll be back next week. We got a lot of work
Yeah.
to do, sister. So, yep.
Yes, sir.
hmm
Well, David, young man, where are you? Where are you from? Like,
I'm from
where are
Kansas
you
City,
from?
Missouri.
Well, I grew up in St. Louis, Missouri.
Yeah,
Okay,
but
so
the town I grew up in was Lee Summit, Missouri.
was who?
Lee Summit, Missouri.
Oh, I haven't even heard of that. Okay, so you think it's okay to date interracially?
Just how I grew up. I don't see a problem with it unless if depending on who your partner is, if they not in any kind of weird way, I don't see a problem with it. Just how I
Have
grew up,
you?
how I was taught, how I grew up. So no, I cannot say that.
So in Kansas City, Missouri, which is a bigger town, not a
Yeah,
little. one horse town where you were.
Yeah.
What what so you saying you don't feel any type of racism in Kansas City, Missouri?
As I grew up, have I ever felt any type of racism? No. I cannot sit here
No,
and say
I
that.
mean in Kansas City, now where you live in a larger city.
It's like in the exact same area. So where I grew up is Kansas City, and Lee Summit is like right there. So no, I haven't.
Okay, so you're saying you've never felt any type of racism or discrimination or anything is what you're saying.
No, I can sit here and tell you that. No, I haven't.
Do
Well, that's
you
This
problematic
nigga
right
weird.
there.
my question is
What
like, do
about
But
you
like the
ask
the
or
situation is, even though in the area that I grew up in, all my friends are black. So to get that straight right there, like how
right?
I grew up in multiple black households with married black women and black men. So what I was taught was never.
so you don't find black women attractive? I mean, I don't. When you were talking about who I vibe with and who I
I find all women attractive, whether you're black, white, or not. So it doesn't really.
well, if all your
No.
friends are black, then where do all these white folks come from?
I mean, where are the white? Well, I live in Lee Summit,
I mean,
Missouri.
if you're saying who you vibe with, and you just said all your friends are black, then who
Yeah,
you vibing with? Who are you vibing
no,
with?
everybody. If you got a cool vibe, you got a cool vibe.
But you just said your friends were black, so I would assume none of them are white. So when do
I
you
mean, I have
go
one of my
vibe
best
with the
friends.
white people? Huh?
Say that again.
I said if you said all your friends are black, so I'm
Yeah.
thinking those are the people you hang out with that you vibe with.
Yes,
Then where are
we've
the
been
white
friends.
people you vibing with?
We've been friends since high school. We all played sports together. So
But where are the white people you're vibing with is what I'm asking.
I mean, I only vibing one white person right now. So, but
And who would that be?
it's a lady that I met in college.
Lady.
And
My that was in uh you know where Salina, Kansas at? Middle of Kansas?
kinda, yeah.
Yeah. So that lets you know the demographics where that would be at.
But you're saying I just don't understand. I would think the way you talking, most of your friends will be white, or half of them will be white. But if you're saying all your friends are black,
I mean,
but you got one white woman you dealing with, right?
I mean, my friend group is very diverse. I have one white friend, I have one Cambodian friend, three black friends. So it's very diverse.
Now it's diverse.
So
That's
they
not
went
what you said.
I
they
But
said
went
I
from
grew
like
up with
I
that.
got black friends to now I got a diverse sorority. So, like what are you talking like what? You it's either one or the other. Do you have black
Right.
friends? Do you have all black friends or do you have a bunch of friends from every other racial group? One or the other.
It's diverse, like you just said at the end.
All right. Well then
So
don't
he
ever
got three and one and one. Okay, so five friends. You got five friends, right? Is that what you saying?
Oh, yeah, she
And,
told you that. Yeah, K State would do that to you.
what?
Nah, just the comment.
Now I went to a PWI, so that has nothing to do with it. I
I
went to
mean,
Marquette University in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where that white
oh
T
wow,
man just dismembered that sister. So no, that has nothing to do with it. That was white. So if you are conscious and you know who the hell you are and what time it is, I don't care where you go to school. That has nothing to do with it.
yeah, I think it's just your
So
surroundings, how you grew up, especially
no,
if you.
I mean, no, well, then did your parents teach you anything about black people or black history?
I
Your
mean,
grandparents,
definitely,
anybody?
definitely.
So did they teach? Did your mama say if she can't use my comb, don't bring her home? Did she ever say that to you,
I mean,
or
yes,
did she say no, son? Just love who you want to love. just all people are people and love is love. Is that what you grew up with?
Sounds like a whole Jesus loves little children. All the children of the world, red, yellow, black, and white. They are like the brainwashing song. Hold my hand. They are precious in His sight. Like, oh, jeez, like what the?
Right. I mean, it's okay. I'm just asking
No,
you.
no, I get what you're saying. Nah, it was. I mean, especially as you growing up, it wasn't really necessarily said, oh, bring in who you can bring in at a young age because your parents didn't really talk to you about that. But as your parents see who you start dating or you see who you start liking, they just always
What
just
did she say then?
vibe who you vibe with. Find somebody that treats you good.
So they didn't have the talk with you.
I mean, do you want to have a talk with your parents?
Well,
Well,
no, it's like they obviously like warn you. Like I get it. Like my parents like didn't, but like that's like a
Yeah, I
whole other
mean
thing.
no because
Like it's
because I can't lie because it's Lee Summit. If you know Lee Summit, it's it's white. Like you know
I
what I'm saying?
don't care. When you black and you live in any damn where, you gonna face something. I don't care, even with your own people. Hell.
That's true.
So what is it that they didn't experience or you didn't experience that everything's, you know, kosher that you didn't have any concept that you have to watch out for yourself.
I mean, yes, even though I never experienced racism in firsthand, you have that
Well,
that
what is racism to you? Maybe that's what we need to clarify. What is race? What? Because nobody came up and said you were Alabama porch monkey. That's you didn't experience racism. I mean, what
no
are you
or like
saying?
just any prejudice kind of way or any um uncertainty. Oh no, you can't do this. I don't. Just you understand what it is. I'm not trying to sugarcoat it. You understand. I'm just saying I have not experienced it where how
Yes, you
I
have.
have.
I know how you
Yes,
experience
you have.
racism. You
Me too.
experience
Right.
racism because the state that you live in, or the state that you said you lived in, is 80%
Missouri.
is 80% white. The state that you live
Yep.
in is 80% white. 80% of
And
your friends,
Republican.
right?
It
So
definitely is. I can't. I
if
I
can't.
would
I'm
eighty
telling you
percent
that.
if 80% of your friends is not white, and you have a majority of black friends in a state that is 80% white, you are surrounded by racists. They just not friends with you. They not coming around you. And
I was gonna
so
say
Right.
even just like Missouri, like I'm like surprised that like in a deep South state like you wouldn't experience that. Like
Which
it
is
That's what
at
I'm
least like in
saying.
he
your
I
might
grew
not even
immediate
be
up
able
in
to
environment.
do it.
Missouri. I grew up in St. Louis, Missouri. You ever been to St. Louis, Missouri?
He experiences it. He wholeheartedly experiences it, but he has internalized removing his ability to recognize it, so much so to the point that he's accepting delusion over the reality because he's with his YT partner, and he's trying to make it so that it works out and it pans out with her because he
Uh-huh.
is unapologetically embedded in his delusion, so much so to the point that he's still going to do whatever is necessary, even to the point of seeing things that are not even there, in order to
No,
try to make things okay with his
I
YT
think
partner.
that's reach, but
I'd
I
say
think
It
it's more.
doesn't sound like a
I'd
reach at
What
say
if
all. It
you
I
just
piss
sounds
her
like
off? What if
I
you
feel like
piss her
that's
off
reach,
and
but
she calls the popo on you? Let's just bring it right down to some brass tacks. What if she gets pissed at you? Oh my god! And she calls the police, and you think the police are just going to be these really nice guys to you?
no, it's not gonna
Really?
be really nice guys, you know. Because the crazy part is, down in one of my days, I wanted to be a police officer, so I went to college and got my degree in criminal justice. So no, ma'am, no,
How
I'd
long
say
So
has
and
that been?
you
I'd say
don't
it's
think they
more
would
of like
treat?
that's
not.
one thing. That's one thing I do know, especially as a black male. I have been pulled over, but especially because I worked in the system, it's very fucked up. So then I do have to operate in a totally different type of asset. You gotta
But you said you haven't experienced any racism. So how is that?
I mean I didn't like there was no, but I did switch it before there's any situation that could occur.
You
Also, like
Code
when
switched
switch.
what?
He
I
code
think he
switch.
You
just
can't
confused.
cold switch an ass whooping.
I guess if you want to call that.
I got a
What?
question. How long have y'all dated?
Oh, this 4 years.
And the topic of race has not come up?
Hell yes.
Yeah.
What?
And how does she handle it?
She listens.
Don't
You
lie to
can
people.
But
listen,
what?
but do
Since
you
you don't experience any racism, what is there to talk about?
I mean, in the 4 years, has anything happened uh publicly that involved racism?
Bro, I just named multiple,
I asked. Yeah.
4 years ago
multiple.
was George Floyd. I don't know what you talking about. The whole world
Right.
knew racism was going on 4 years ago.
Racism, different types of cultures. You experience, you talk about it. How you grew up, how they grew up. It's totally different.
Bro,
How
it's
people
not.
grow up and anecdotes like that is much different than when we're talking about racism. We're talking about a system of oppression where you are deemed a threat, black man.
But
So
my question is, I know we get into this part, but what the topic that is up here right now, that's the question that I only came here to see what you guys thoughts about why is you guys feel like that.
David, the
We've been
problem.
Everything
explaining it.
that makes you a black man should make you feel like that. I mean,
Right.
seriously, can you? Okay, if you're a Christian or whatever, they say what you do to the Jesus said, what you do to the least of my brothers, you do to me. So, okay, you didn't experience any racism. Never went through anything. You never experienced anything. Okay, but what they do to the least of your brothers, they've done to you. So. How can you talk a lot about race with your white girlfriend if that's not an issue for you? What do y'all talk about?
I mean,
Soul
the
food,
topic
maybe?
is not always about race. If that was you, I mean,
I'm
like,
not saying it's always about race. I'm saying if you're saying that you haven't experienced anything it's like you ain't got a clue about what racism is, then what do y'all talk about when you talk about race?
whenever if there's a topic that came to my mind, I just bring it up.
Like what could it possibly be?
and it's
Ooh, he got the
gone.
pause.
All right. Shout out to Black is Beautiful and friends. There was a few people that sent them paws through. Thank you for being so patient, smart sister. Listen,
no disrespect to the young fella, but I think like Tim said, he doesn't it's the ability to recognize it because if you've experienced it, you can definitely explain it if you're able to
Right.
recognize it. And one of my experiences being in the South is that like I could just walk down the street, and I'm pretty sure most people, a lot of us can relate to this. Is that you're just walking down a block and you're just minding your business, and you just people watching as you're walking, and you will catch people looking at you, and as soon as you look at them and you see them looking at you, they look away.
hmm
You
and
know,
then
and it's like and that's something that like I had to really become accustomed to because living in New York. Most of my friends were all, I had a diverse group of friends. I don't know what diverse he was talking about, but I had Spanish, Asian,
yeah,
Black. I had a multitude of friends. But I will say, like, as far as my age group, I didn't hang around white people. They
mm,
wasn't around within our community. And so I wouldn't have noticed it. And if I did, if it was like they look at me, look away, like New York is so oblivious and they don't really care about you, you don't think of it. But when I came down here to Georgia, I'm not in Atlanta, but when I came down here to Georgia, I started noticing like I would just be chilling. I'll probably be with my friends. And I'm just looking around and I see somebody in the corner just staring at me, you know, or I look at them and they look away, and it's like, bro, like if you looking at me, give me a head nod of acknowledgement. Like it's crazy, like
Well, it ain't just
how
Georgia. Hell, I'm in
no, it's not,
California,
it's
and it's
not.
the same thing. Orange
Oh,
County,
California is not good.
Yep.
legend knows.
California.
It's the same thing here on the East Coast. Every single time I step down the street
Everywhere.
and they look at me and they're wondering whether or not I'm like, because I wear my Pan African necklace because I like for my African family to at least know that like, hey, listen, I'm out here and Like, I'm out here because they have to, but yeah,
Uh,
they do the same thing over here too, every single
and
Yeah,
time. Like
when
and
it
the
comes to
thing.
like,
I
I'm sorry,
think
go
what it
ahead.
was is that he's real young. You know, he's still real young, so we got to give him that. But at the same time, he hasn't raised the consciousness yet inside of him to understand the importance of who he is and what he should be about. So he wouldn't talk that way. No,
Right.
he was
I
taught that.
agree.
That's why I was
Oh,
asking about his parents and everything. Yeah.
yeah. See, he wasn't taught that way. See, what happens is when you're in an environment where you know the value of who you are and your people, then that's going to be a problem trying to be in an interracial relationship with somebody. I mean, you're not even going to feel comfortable enough to even attempt to want to be in an relationship with somebody. So I
Yeah,
think his
I'm
whole
pretty
thing
sure the
was,
conversation.
yeah. I'm
Go
just
ahead,
saying.
boss.
I
I'm
just think
sorry.
his whole thing is that he's real young. He's young. He's just experimenting. He don't know the value of a black woman or truly himself, and he hasn't been in a situation enough that's been threatening enough to where he can feel that what, maybe this is wrong. Maybe this is not the right way to go. Maybe I need to be more so with my people. But sometimes that takes time. It takes maturity. But
Well, has he ever dated a sister, or is this his first little girlfriend, or what?
your guess is better than mine. I mean, it's going from what we heard, because he has some feelings for this white girl. I mean, don't. I'm not trying, point fingers or anything, but he got some sort of feelings to where that hasn't clicked in his mind yet. Because, see, the thing about it is her parents hasn't came at him yet with that to where he understands I'm not supposed to be here. It doesn't feel
Mm-hmm.
comfortable here. See, when he gets that point to where he reached that point of being uncomfortable, then it'll click. Like, all right, this is what they was talking about.
Yeah.
No.
Well, some of us never get uncomfortable. You know what comes to mind is that brother. You know the brother that played on that show oh Lord, Omari Hutchison. What's his name? Hardwick. Omari Hardwick. Y'all know him, the guy that played Ghost on that TV show. Well,
Yeah.
anyway,
Power.
I read a article about him where he said when white women approached him, he really was uncomfortable. He didn't, it didn't feel right. You know how he was raised, yada yada yada, woo woo. Well, you know what he ended up marrying, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she was a publicist or something out here in Hollywood. I kind of think he did it so he could get his career off the ground. But anyway, my thing is this: if in your heart you had that feeling of not being comfortable or feeling it wasn't right, then why would you override all that and go ahead and do it anyway? That's what I'm saying. Some brothers
I agree.
have the feeling and they do it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I'm gonna
And
say
he's a
is that
celebrity that did it and talks about it.
one thing I'm gonna definitely say is that, like, if you talk big talk about how you feel negatively about that demographic, about YT people, and especially YT women, and how harmful they have been, and then you go around and then you then choose to then you then choose a YT woman or a YT person to then spend the most intimate moments of your life with. Like, that says to me that you actually were lying about the trauma that you experienced. That says to me that you are just trying to pander to your own black people to try to get sympathy for your situation, so that way they could attempt, so that you could attempt to participate in the identity of pro-black, when in reality you never could participate in the identity of pro-black because you do very anti-black things. Like, as I'm
Right.
telling you all, that having a negative experience with YT people, and when you have that deep understanding of just how dangerous and just how, like, just vile, you don't have a desire to procreate. Like, it becomes deeply embedded in your core. You have no desire to then all of a sudden be around them. If it's real and legitimate, your
Right.
ass is very much so gonna. I would rather just sit in a room by myself than have all that nonsense be fully available to, like, hell to the no.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah,
No, I agree.
self-preservation is the first law of nature.
Right.
So if that is the case, then like I said, I don't understand, like you said, having experienced certain things, like you're saying, Tim, that would make you go against the first law of nature. I mean, that's, you push anybody in a corner, you push a dog in a corner, it's gonna fight back to get
Mm.
away. You know what I mean? So,
It's not gonna look for a powdered donut to play with.
no.
Exactly. Exactly.
But
Stay away
y'all,
from
we
it.
got some new people up here. I want to give them a chance to speak. Sister Black is Beautiful is here. What's going on? For the live, could you give us your age, race, and pronouns, please?
Hello everybody. My name is Black is Beautiful or T. I'm 35 years old. Blackity black, and my pronouns are she, her, they, them.
All right, thank you, sister. Talk to us.
Okay, so I'm just gonna give you my personal opinion. I feel like that interracial relationships. I don't think black people can find love in interracial relationships. From what I've seen in the lives that I've held, white people don't have no respect for black people. They don't see us as humans. Um, they see us as lower than them, and it's just there's no way that we could actually have a successful relationship with them. Just for me interacting with them on my live, it's just impossible. Impossible. It's
Oh my God, no! Black is
it's
beautiful. What are you
disgusting.
saying?
It's disgusting the way that they talk to us. Oh my goodness. And I've been at these lives for a long time, and what they do is they like to be the center of attention. And then once you give them that attention and you put them in the hot seat and try to talk to them, first of all, you have to make them comfortable. Second, if they don't want to answer the question, they're going to pivot. You know what I mean? It usually always ends up in an argument because they just don't get it. They don't have the empathy for
Hmm.
us. They see us as they see dogs as more of a human or an equal to them than black people are, and it's just disgusting. I just really, I don't like it. I don't get it. And I am pro black. I will unalive single before I date a white man. That's all I have to say.
Well, I mean, that makes
Yeah,
perfect.
all he can do is point me to a brother, to be honest.
I heard that. Thank you. Thank you for contributing to the conversation, sister. And yeah, they'll kiss a dog in the mouth too. I'll be seeing videos on
Yep.
they'll kiss a dog in the mouth, turn around.
Bro, yo, I just saw,
Hey
bro,
yo, nah,
I
I seen a
just,
video. I
They,
seen a
they do
video.
more than kiss them in the mouth. Just know that. They do more
yo,
than
I
I,
kiss them
seen
in
a
the mouth.
video. The
Bestiality.
busted female was sucking on a chihuahua tongue. I was like, what in the and she a brother don't play about her somewhere because them the same ones that turn around, see a man in the club, just stick her tongue down your throat. So y'all better be careful out here with who you swap and spit with. But
bro.
absolutely nothing is in an unjust environment. Nothing is the way it's supposed to be. Nothing operates the way it's supposed to be. This is what Nelly Fuller tells us. And love is supposed to be. I like you. I vibe with you. You know, I'm in a safe environment where I don't have to worry about hostility and injustice and economic. Brother Gino, you got a lot of noise. Could you mute up for me?
Oh yeah. So like that.
But yeah, I don't have to think about systemic issues and oppression and police brutality. And, the black woman has to wonder if she's safe because even if she does call the police not going to help her. You know what I'm saying? In an unjust environment, we have to think of all of these things first, even in love. Even when we talk about love, we have to first wonder are you someone that can work with me against different structures that seek to oppress me or disparage me in some way? Are you someone that I can build with, or are you blind to what's going on and going to be someone that could tear me down? So I have to wonder that first, and that is why it's not technically love, because white tea people, they're in a different scenario. They can have that quote unquote love. They're not worried about all these. They can just say, "Oh, I like you. You like me? All right, cool. Yeah, let's be friends. Let's do this." Black woman has to say, and you see it a lot in these dating spaces with black men and black women, where the black woman is asking, like, "Can you provide?" Because the number one predictor of poverty in the black community is a black woman unmarried with a child. An unmarried black woman in a fatherless home is the number one predictor of her being in poverty. It's a predictor. Understand? It's not even something that raises the possibility. It raises the possibility so much that we can predict she will be below the poverty line. And so her question is valid to say, can this brother provide? Is this brother able to, put up an umbrella so that injustice doesn't rain down on us? And so when you walk up to a white man, the first thing you got to think is he a make America, is he a yeehaw or is he a Yahoo? Either way, it don't really matter. You can experience racism either way. But the fact that you have to think about survival first is not love. That's what we call that in terms of war, because we do see ourselves as prisoners of war, the war on African people. What you call that, when two people come together in the best interest of surviving a hostile environment, you call that camaraderie. The black woman is my comrade. The black man is my comrade. We have decided to come together intentionally so that we could survive a system of oppression that seeks to destroy us and separate us from one another. We decided to come together and build a strong family unit. I decided to come together with my brothers and build organizations that can help them be able to provide for their families so that we are able to provide. And when our women come to us, they can look to us as a way to shield them from that poverty line. And so big up to the brothers and sisters once again that chose intentionally to build their life with a brother and sister. All right, let's go to the next guest. Shy Niece, give us your age, your race, and your pronouns, please.
Um, I'm 25. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm black.
All right, talk to us.
I do think that black people can find love in interracial relationships.
Okay, tell us more.
Tell you why?
Yeah, qualify that. What makes you think that?
Because I found love in an interracial relationship, and I've seen other black women find love in interracial relationships as well.
What race is your significant other?
He is Native American, white, and black.
He's white.
There's no way.
He's Native
There's
American,
no. Wait,
white,
hold
and
on.
black.
There's no way
He's white.
that your
He's Native
significant.
American, white, and black.
Hold on.
Well, she
There's
keeps
no
saying that
way.
he's white.
Just won't calm down, Chinese.
My
All
bad.
right. No way that your significant other has three races in him, unless he's the product of a threesome. Could you please explain to me how that worked?
His great grandfather is Native American, and then his mom and dad, his dad is white and his mom is black.
All right, so he black and just white passing, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's right here. Okay, so that's not an interracial relationship, but it's weird that you're presenting it as one.
How is that not an interracial
You
relationship?
got a black mama, right? You sure his mama's black?
Yes.
So he came out a black woman, and you for some reason are telling me about his great granddaddy, which is weird. But at the end of the day, If this brother has a black mother, even if we was back in 1816 or 1792, that would be considered a black man.
Well, his mom is mixed race.
It still applies.
I feel like she wants to be in an interracial relationship more than she actually is in one.
That doesn't make any sense. I'm saying his mom is black and white and his dad is fully white. So how is that not an interracial relationship?
That dynamic is interesting, but like we already said, so technically speaking, the mom very much so was a black woman, and by her choosing to procreate with a white man, that then leads us down to him needing to fully embrace a consciousness of being black in order to unapologetically be recognized as black. I mean, like, technically, if we're going into the deeper ends of that, he would still, even during the European transatlantic slave trade, he would still be labeled and classified as enslaved. Like, that's like the status follows the mom, so he would still be um, just as much in chains as everybody else. So it's just, it's weird. You kind of doing that. You kind of bringing them up in this type of context, this type of dynamic, and um, I seriously question as to whether or not you even enjoy being black. I'm gonna keep it real with you.
I enjoy being black.
Don't sound like it.
Yeah, I highly doubt that.
I do. That was just really funny. Sorry.
No, it's not funny. It's sad.
Well, it's funny that you said that because are you going to tell me that I don't enjoy being black? Because what?
I mean, post-traumatic slave syndrome is very much so a thing. Anytime that there's people that don't unapologetically identify as their black with their blackness,
I just said that I was black, so how am I not?
okay,
Because
all
I'm
right,
I thought we was
not
talking
dating a
about you.
black man.
but at the end of the day,
You are
what
dating
you're,
a black man, sis. You just don't want to
yeah,
see him that way, but it's okay.
Okay, he's black. Okay.
All right. So, did you have anything else to tell us?
No, I was just answering the prompt in the back.
I think it's weird when y'all make your relationship like your special quality or something. I'm gonna go to the next guest. Dog mom is fine. Go ahead. Give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
Sure, 35. Race is black, and pronouns are she, her. I wanted to ask sis what dude actually like what do people think he was? What did he put down on paper too? Because like those are kind of important in terms of race and like phenotype and stuff. Cause like I don't know. Cause he looked white to me. But
Yeah, he
regardless.
does.
Regardless, whatever. You could date a mixed man all you want, but mixed is not a race, baby, because you could be Polynesian and Asian and you're mixed, and you could be black and white and you're mixed, so it's not a race. But we move
Yeah.
forward, right?
What
We
does
move
ID
forward.
say?
I need
We
people
move.
to look up the definition of race, because anytime that we ask race or you state what a person's race is and you say mixed, or you keep on giving the country that they came from, none of that has anything to do with the question that we're asking. And also, the concept of race, the definition literally means that you can only be one. So whichever is the dominant, that's it. That's it.
So here's
I
my
don't, I don't
thing.
know why
All
people are
right,
so.
here's my thing. Because I don't want us to conflate. I don't want us to conflate stuff. And I know why Smart's just 11. I don't want us to conflate stuff. Let's bring it back to the facts, right?
Mhm.
Ain't nobody come out of mixed black woman is white. That ain't how that works. That ain't how that works. You could be phenotypically privileged. You can also have privilege in your bank account, like Kanye West. You can also have privilege in just the fact that we can speak English is a privilege over brothers and sisters in Africa, brothers and sisters that are from Haiti that have a Haitian accent even when they do learn English. You can be um, privileged by your oppressor in the form of your passport. You got an American passport, you can be privileged in that way. There are many little privileges or concessions, rather, that you can receive from your oppressor that have nothing to do Well, it has something to do with your identity, but it don't mean that you're a different race. So there are more phenotypically privileged or people that gets concessions because of their phenotype being more recessive. However, ain't no way that person is white. Whiteness implies purity. You can't be a person without color and have color at the same. If your mama got color, you can't be a person without color. You a person of color. And usually, the way that the one drop rule is what they call it, but really what it's called is hypodescent. And Harvard just did a study on this not too long ago. People keep saying one drop rule is over. That's all over now, guys. No, it's not. No, it's not. Because you all know that TikToker that said the N word on that video is a white girl that said the N word. They found out she was Jewish, and they've been trying to kick her out of whiteness ever since. And that's the thing. All of World War II, them Jewish people phenotypically presented as white as much as they wanted to, and they was not included into whiteness. So at the end of the day, if somebody has a white phenotype, oh yeah, colorism, they don't get that. You know, they can bypass that. You know, if they speak a certain way, present themselves a certain way, they can pass. Passing is the action one takes in order to convince those that are the oppressor. That I'm trying to be mindful of my words, but convince other people that they're white. So they try to convince them by flat ironing their hair like Meghan Markle, you know, certain things. But at the end of the day, I think it's
But
wild
them
that
edges.
she's in an imaginary relationship with a white man that got a black mother. That's wild because I know the white community don't think he white.
Mm-mm. Yeah, Megan's edges be telling. You
They
know,
sure do.
a perm ain't nothing but a perm ain't nothing but a temporary. Okay. So no, I was laughing, Legend, because it cracks me up the pause you take right before you get ready to lay somebody out. So that's why I laugh. But anyway, it's just like effing for virginity. You can't do them. You can't do one or the other and keep them both. I mean, really?
Hmm.
Really? That's the logic they got. Effing for virginity. Can't happen.
Yeah.
It
And
just
that's
can't.
wild. That's wild. Like I hope he identifies as white at least, or you know, maybe he's incorrect and he trying to identify as white because
Bro,
can
you
you
know
imagine
good
you had a
and
black
damn
mother
well.
and you know you phenotypically present as white, but you still like, you know, you had a black mom, so you might have some of the culture in you. You might be black, and then you got a dark skinned significant other. She keeps saying I'm in an interracial relationship.
Relationship.
Bro,
Right. So it's
you
to
know
pass
good
him
and well
off
that
as
he
white.
is incredibly confused. Like he's as confused
Right.
as that sister just
Yeah,
was
he
coming up
probably
here. He's
And
confused.
she is.
Right.
he found his perfect match because he found somebody that's just as confused as him, and now they just confused together.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yep.
that. So yeah, and it is not going to be a surprise. Even if she were to actually bring him up here and have a conversation with us, like some of the couples in the past have actually done, it's just going to prove the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said before, I'm curious to of course we nobody wants this to happen, but if Republicans is go in and take over like the government politically, right? Like they also have policies where they're trying to ban in words. And it's like, what are they gonna do when certain words like race, not race, but like racism and all this stuff is banned? Like, what are you gonna do? You're just gonna like I don't know, bro. People, I do think people are lost. I do think people have don't have a real sense of self. They're just going off of this, love is love, love is everybody, and it's like you gotta see and understand that they are really, really trying to it's like brainwash us. Basically, they trying to get us to like not think about anything, which is so crazy to me.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah.
Well, well, when bricks get through whooping the dollar's ass, it really ain't gonna matter
Mm-hmm.
about none of that
Hmm.
stuff. To be
Yeah.
honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so
And I
tired of the
also think a
big
lot of
bad wolf Republicans. They both on the same team. Lord Jesus, y'all. Let's just black folks. Do like
I
Cloud
agree with that
Anderson
too.
said, we got to get our money together and you buy about politicians. I
Hmm.
mean, really? We got bigger fish to
Mm,
fry.
no, I don't know.
I'm honestly nervous about them coming out with that. I'm really nervous about it.
And
About
have
what's that?
anybody?
At Brick Pay,
Oh, honey, but just bricks, the money, the currency, they have more power now than the G7 or whatever in terms of the money,
Currency.
productivity, all of that. So that's what I'm just saying. And I think I'm gonna pull something together to do. We need to really understand what money is and how it works.
Oh, it ain't money.
Seriously,
The dollar
you
is
know.
just a construct that has no value.
Right.
But
It's based on debt. Well, why do you think they got rid of Gaddafi? Because he was trying to get Africa to base their currency on gold back the way it used to be. And America was like, oh, no, 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 no. Our stuff is based on debt. So wait, wait, wait. You trying to do what? That's what's
hmm
going on. That's what we got to understand.
yeah,
Yeah, and
yeah,
also,
I
yeah,
don't.
like in the reality of it, I've mentioned this a bunch of times on the panel before, but yeah, America is a bootleg Rome, and Rome was just a
Mm-hmm.
bootleg Europeanized, Eurocentric version of Kemet. Like Kemet, they had things together. They were our ancient African ancestors, but then a bunch of Greeks essentially started to beg and plead, please show us how you do this, please show us how you
Mm-hmm.
made this, please show us how you construct this, please show us how to do math, please show us all these ideologies that you're coming up with. And out of pity, we were like, all right, fine, bet you've been here for years asking for the same questions, so I'll tell you some
500
stuff.
years, I think. I think they was
Yeah.
asking for 500 years. Like,
Yep. And so eventually we were like, all right, fine, fine. We'll give you a little tidbit. And then we gave them enough tidbits. And then what did they do? They used the entirety of those tidbits to build Rome. And then Rome came back in and then conquered those space. And they used that to gain more and more power and influence via the Greeks and so on and so forth. Like this is the reality of it. So we need to be
Mm-hmm.
very aware that because this is a modern day Rome, if y'all want to know how this country is going to fail, all you have to do is just look at Rome.
mm-hmm,
Just look at
Mm-hmm.
Rome. Like, there's
mm-hmm,
literally documented evidence that shows that the citizens of Rome, by the time that foreigners came into their lands to conquer Rome, they saw those foreigners as liberators. What do we think? Like, I just saw a comment in the section below talking about how Putin is trying to free black people. And you see, black people are actually now welcoming that, being like,
yeah.
yo, yes. And to be quite frank, I'm kind of with it too, in a way. In a way, because at the end of the day,
depends
still an
on the
oppressor.
small fine print.
It's just like it's really coming from the guys that I want to see America fall. I want to see it. I want to be able to bear witness to it. I don't know if that's going to happen in my lifetime or in our lifetime, but I would love to be an old man on a rocking chair just watching this shit burn to the ground. I would sit and just relax and just watch the just watch it with full ease and comfort in my heart and joy and smile. And I could go on to greet the ancestors with a smile on my face after witnessing some of that. But like, we need to be very real about this. No civilization lasts forever, especially not a bootleg Rome.
hmm And
Hmm.
So
it's actually pretty sad because all that information is not being portrayed in the media that everybody trusts. So a lot of people don't even know what's actually happening, which is scary because I don't think people really have a full grasp of what's about to happen within the next 2 or 3, 5 years, honestly. Like by the time 2030 comes, America is going to look very different, in my opinion.
Look at what happened after Rome. Rome collapsed. It didn't just end. Rome
Hmm
collapsed. France, Germany, Belgium, Great Britain, all these places were once part of Rome. And so after Rome fell and collapsed into all these pieces, they themselves tried to make their own idea of Rome, what Rome was, and they started to become the conquerors themselves. I am curious to see what will happen to the United States once that happens. I'm so, it
Um,
seems like Texas
I
is going
see.
to go back to its own country. Go ahead.
I see the country
How
coming
do you how do
fascist.
you think it's gonna look in the next 2 to 5 years?
Two to five.
America.
Yeah, I mean, two to
Mad
five.
Max.
You probably have Donald Trump as the forever president. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Hmm.
it seemed like Donald Trump is not gonna give up power easily next time. Like he showed the first time, he ain't willing to just let it go. So now
Hmm.
the second time, I just seen his approval rating is at 48%. You know, it's not as high as Joe Biden, but again, does that really matter? This man's a convicted felon, and he's got 48% of the country rocking with him. So that being the case, yeah, he probably get in the White House again. The real question is, they're already doing this thing with the military now where they're automatically registering people between 18 and 26 for the draft. So that's probably going to be for the immigrants that are here. And of course, the black people are going to be at the front lines of their wars, whatever crisis they come up with. It really becomes, as far as fascism, it really becomes really scary once they close the borders. That's
Hmm.
usually the next step. Is you can't go anywhere without your papers, and they close the borders and they turn the pew pews on the citizens, not the other way, like the outside. Like they turn the machine pew pews on us
Nah,
to make
I
sure that
agree.
we don't leave and go to Africa. Um, so
I agree.
that's what happens in fascism. That's normally how this would play out, and it looks like it's playing out normally so far. So we'll see.
Well, let's hope not, because we don't want Trump, nor do we want Biden back off in office. And neither one of
Yeah,
them lead us to anywhere positive, and we've seen the results of that already. So, what we need to really try to do is start getting more people that look like us in positions where they can help us more instead of it being the other way around.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
gonna
I'm
keep it
looking
real.
at Africa, y'all. Next 2 to 5 years, y'all, 4 to 5 years, like she said. I'm gonna be in Africa. Y'all let me know how it go for y'all, cause I'm I'm in Africa. I'm telling you right now. I'm in Ghana.
Brother Ledger, I'm
I'm
gonna be
in
right
Ghana.
behind you. I'm gonna be in Lagos. I'm gonna be in Nigeria. So I
Yeah.
mean, you
I'd
know,
rather just leave the
Bro, I'm
country. I
either
don't
be
care
in
where I
Ghana,
go.
I'm gonna be in Zimbabwe, or yeah, I'm gonna be in one of those spots. Cause like this is, yeah, y'all, this is
Well, that's the where the attention is turning to right now because that's where all the most of the resources are at. So
Mm-hmm.
just like this person says, like Kenya is going through a whole revolution right
Yeah,
now,
right now, yeah.
and so Africa is just looking pretty crazy. I don't know what they got going on in South Africa.
South
Um,
Africa, they chose their oppressor in this last election. So that we was all a little puzzled, but apparently those that are in the know was not surprised. But apparently Africa voted back in the not the apartheid system, but the people that were in favor of apartheid when that was happening. And Orania, a place that's going to be a white town for whites only, is going to
the
be on
Western
the
Cape.
agenda of this party that just gained control. So yeah, they used xenophobia. They told the South African black people that they need to be afraid of Nigerians and other black people from Africa coming into the country illegally. So that's how they got the vote for the party that's in favor of white people. So
That's the craziest thing I've ever heard because y'all all on the same continent.
right, exactly.
Like,
The white man drew the lines and called some of y'all illegal, and so now y'all, just like the FBA crowd, is saying that you want to hoard the resources of your exploitation, built on your exploitation. The resources taken from y'all. Y'all want to cut other black Africans off from that. It's kind of like greedy. It's a shame.
I mean, there's gonna be you know, keeping it okay. Yeah, there's gonna be very much so. Uh, Anybody who they fully knows about it, there's going to be people that are very much so going to operate to the best interests of our oppressors. There's going to be people that are going to actively attempt to gain access to unapologetically pan-African uplifting black spaces. that are black, and they're going to operate to the detriment of those spaces. There's going to be that. And it's happening right now. We see it just even in the smallest little things. From time to time, you'll see black people coming up onto these panels, talking all types of nonsense, talking all types of craziness in the comment section. And then they come up, and the first thing they start trying to do is divide the conversation or separate the issues as if it's like, no, it's just a us thing. No, it's just a this thing. It's just a that. They'll try to do that, and you'll see that regularly. There is
Like
multiple
more
people.
often than what's happening now.
Yep, like even with a lot of the pretendian community, they'll come in, and the first thing they start doing is a whole bunch of anti-black rhetoric, a whole bunch of anti-African unification, and then they'll never have a plan though. When you actually hear their lives and you listen in, they never have plans. They don't have any actual step-by-step ways of being able to liberate black people. They literally just come together, talk about, yeah, because I mean, all you got to do is just read the terminology, and the terminology talks about how black is this word that's associated with this, and just so long as you don't associate with the word, then the trauma that's associated with how they pursue you legally doesn't fit. So you can't. The last time I checked, they did not throw me in handcuffs because I legally identified as black. They threw me in handcuffs because they saw me as a black person, and then threw me in handcuffs because of it. Like that's not
Right.
like yes. So we got to be very, very careful of that, y'all. If you are operating to help liberate your African people, if you are operating to build and to actually unapologetically unify African people, I'm gonna let y'all know right now, y'all need to become very, very serious about making plans to get out of the diaspora. Y'all need to be making serious plans, and I'm saying that to myself as well because I've been slacking. We need to make serious efforts towards getting out of the diaspora, because the diaspora is where it's going to go to hell.
I agree, because we're behind enemy lines,
Prisoners of
Yeah.
war.
Yeah, like
Absolutely.
COINTELPRO type stuff.
Yeah.
Shoot,
Y'all see?
we all might be in trouble just for coming on this live in the future. If they keep
Yep.
a record of whoever, if anybody said free Palestine, they might be knocking on your door. Even if you delete it, they can still see it. The
Yeah,
government might be once things get radical, they might approach you for some of your views. Dog mom, go ahead, sister.
Worries. I just want, because I got distracted because I have grad school work to do, but I really wanted to come up and talk about the topic real quick, because I just wanted to mention the fact that I don't feel like this is a possibility, because it's really hard to have love without like true understanding, right? Like how can you can't understand your person's experience or their existence because you've never experienced it before and don't have the capability of doing so. So I feel like that's like a really difficult thing to be able to actually truly love somebody, because a lot of these relationships come from fetishism or trauma responses. And I will say myself, because whenever I was young, I went to school with YT people because I was in predominantly white institutions the majority of my life. YT, I'm sorry. So I ended up around being the only black girl. So I was with little like white boys when I was younger. Once I started getting around black people and I felt understood and I felt like my own, that's when I was like, oh, thank God, I'm not ugly. I'm not the wrong one here. Like that, like then I started to actually feel loved, because they will treat black people and other non-white people, non-YT people, like there's something wrong with them. So like going to majority black countries and stuff like that, you will, like, as women, as men, you will feel understood, you will feel accepted, and you will feel like attractive, because that's the beauty standard versus having to deal with the Europeanized beauty standard. And I even found some information, because I was thinking about like the psychological impacts kind of like interracial relationships for a while. And Psychology Today was talking about the racial status exchange. So like a Kim Kardashian, for example, who is a YT woman, whether she's Eastern European or not, whatever, she's a YT woman in America. They're talking about like the exchanges of anything. So her getting with socially economically advantaged black men, she's getting a leg up, even though she is a YT woman. And that's how we know who she is. Ray J, Kanye, Reggie Bush, all the people that she done married, that's how we know who she is, her racial exchange status. So oftentimes, whenever it's even the reverse, we're talking about the exchanges can be ranging from the being seen with a status symbol. So like Nick Cannon was talking about black men being with YT women. Oh, now you're a status symbol. Now you're this, now you're that. Your credit is higher. Those types of things. Whenever it's the YT people being with somebody else, they're typically dealing with a situation of they were rejected by their own. So they come over to other people, or it's something that is a fetish. Like it's like they're exchanging the people who are the global majority that are with them are exchanging their looks, their sexual acumen, whatever, for being with someone else. So it's actually really interesting where I was like, oh, okay, so the race status exchange thing, it works both ways in these relationships. There's something to be exchanged, but it doesn't sound like love. None of that sounds like love. It all just sounds like you're being it's all transactional. That's all it sounds like to me. It's transactional. So that was what I wanted to say, because I would never do that again. I'm way too black. I do way too many black things to be with somebody that's not black. Couldn't do it.
I
African
heard that.
spirituality and all that, could not do it. Refuse.
As I keep saying, no pink meat for me. No pink meat.
Oh no. Not pink. Oh no. Absolutely not, man. Absolutely. Well, we know that the sisters gonna hold it down, man. Big up the sisters, man. Sisters been holding it down.
And I agree with Dog Mom on that part. Like, if like for me to have to date a YT person, I know I would have to completely change my identity as a person to even be around them, and that's just something I'm not willing to do. Like she said, I'm too black for that, bro. My lingo, my vernacular, everything I say, I don't want to have to say a slang, and they be like, "What's that?" And I have to explain to them what it is. Like, no, no,
Man, I ain't gonna explain that. I'll tell you right now, I'll make her cry. She's just gonna be crying. She's gonna be crying over and over again. I'm like, you're racist, you damn colonizer. Like, I ain't, man, you the devil, you the devil incarnate.
no,
I'm telling
no.
you, like, they gonna be listening to Khalid Muhammad. They're just gonna be crying. It's gonna be pain. They don't got no business around me. Tell you that right now. And I wish more of our brothers felt this way. You know, of course, a lot of black men feel the powerlessness of the environment that we live in. They feel the powerlessness, and they think that the power structure that be will accept them, and then they'll be granted some sort of power. That's the thing with black men, because the thing that makes us the biggest threat to white supremacy is our power, and so they've tried to take our power from us so much. And so that's why you see the men that do care about power the most, the rich, the wealthy, all of them, they try to align themselves and signal to their oppressor that they're willing to go along with the current system and not build a new one, not build black power, but rather, look, I got white power in my bed. I work good with you, boss. I dribbles the ball for you. I run my yards for
Assimilation.
you. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, a lot of black men, instead of creating black power, they would, or instead of tearing down systems that are detrimental to our community, they'd rather just be accepted and win over white power. That's the thing with Kanye West. He loved his white validation. That's all
He
he's
do.
about.
Oh my God, he
Oh my
do.
goodness, parading his naked girlfriend around everywhere. She gonna catch a cold.
hmm And what I think is so funny, what's crazy is that, like, if black people collectively was to get on code and we really just like stop spending our money in these non-black spaces. Now, don't get me wrong, I understand that like mortgages and rents and like essentials that need to be paid, a lot of it doesn't come back to us. But if we was to reduce the luxury spending on things that's not for us, it could drastically change
Mhm.
a lot of things economically, to a point where people like the other races in the government, you know, they would start to respect us, just like the whole even the whole hairline. Like the black
Yeah,
lady said she
even.
had the
Yep.
experience.
Hmm.
Yes, you know, like now all of a sudden they out here apologizing. They trying to get that black dollar back, and it's just like if we can do that collectively to all the other places, like black men with Jordans and sneakers, jewelry, all these things, like it will really change the
Why do they
dynamic of
buy that
things.
stuff? Why do they buy that stuff? Same thing. It goes speaks back right to what I was saying. You know, they buy that stuff to signal to their oppressor that they have some sort of power. I have wealth power. I have a chain. I got a big chain. I'm not
Hmm.
powerless. Look at me. Look at me. I have expensive jewelry. I got expensive sneakers on. You know, like that's really what you see a lot of cocoonery from black men. Even when it comes to how we treat black women, it's usually
Hmm.
just us trying to get some sort of power in a system that has deemed us powerless.
Right, right. Putting value in materialistic things instead of
Right.
in ourselves. I agree.
Hmm. And so that's yeah. When we talk about these brothers that come back to self love, that's really what this live is about: self love, self respect. If you can love yourself, you can love a black woman because you're gonna love you. I love myself, man. I love myself so much, man. I look in the mirror.
Hmm.
I'll be looking at my brown skin. I'll be looking at my natural hair. You know what I'm saying? That
Hmm.
of course, I'm gonna attract a queen that love herself too. And when I see that queen, I'm gonna see myself in her. And
Hmm.
the things that I love about me, I'm going to see it in her, and I'm going to love that too. Which is funny because me and my wife both have the same hairstyle. She weird, but you
Now,
know,
I will say
yeah.
like this is I have locks too, and this is my second time,
Mhm.
and they,
Oh, he got cut off. He huck it. Oh, he got cut off. Well, thank y'all for tapping like. Keep tapping like. We about to I'm about to take it down. Oh yeah, yeah. My wife just did my sides, my locks. I'm definitely free. I had my locks where I shaved off my sides, so I had
my
to grow out the sides for like a whole year, and then I reattached, cut these and reattached it. So I'm free now. I hated it for so long. I had to wrap my head. If you look at my videos, I always got my head wrapped up, but those days are over. Thank the ancestors, you know, for making me so
I
damn
actually got a call.
beautiful.
I'm gonna drop down real quick.
R.I.P. Huckett. Appreciate you. Fantasia, give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
Hello. Okay, I'm 33. I'm black, and I go by she, her.
All right, talk to us, sister.
I think. Well, I'm in an interracial marriage. I've been in one for 13 years, and so I definitely think they can work. But I think it's rare because I see a lot of it with my cousins. They're also like in interracial relationships, and we have conversations constantly about like men fetishizing them, or like some of them like are bleaching their skin and dyeing their hair and changing their identity, and it's just I think like I got kind of lucky with me and my husband. We met when we were pretty young, and it wasn't like a fetish or anything weird,
So you
and I
think you
kind of
got
already.
lucky? You think you got lucky with a white man? Um, is he white?
Yeah, he's Irish.
So you got lucky with a white man. So in
Not
that
that I
being,
got lucky with him, but I just got lucky that my relationship isn't like how
is he
I've
racist?
been seeing. He's not racist.
I don't believe that. There's no way. There's no way. There's no way. Anti-blackness is inherent even in black people. You telling me you found an Irish white man that's not racist when I got black people here struggling to love themselves? You have found somehow a
Yep.
white man that's never had a racist thought. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes.
Does he
Even
think that, wait, real quick, does he think that Irish people were enslaved in America? I just wanted to ask. Does he think that?
no.
So he knows the difference between indentured servitude and enslavement.
Yeah.
So
No.
how do
Okay.
you know? How do you
Fantasia,
know?
can black people be racist?
Yeah.
And there it is.
There it is.
There
Yeah.
you go. Thank
To be
you.
honest,
Cynthia.
it's really bingo. Like it's really bingo. Only reason we don't have a bingo is because when we're talking about black oppression, I don't want to trivialize it and make it something that's fun and games. I do want to try to keep it, but it's bingo with y'all. It's really simple. And it's just like we know that it's something you miss. And I'm gonna use this metaphor. I gotta go. I'm gonna use this metaphor. Hold on, because we're not here to hear your story. We're here to learn. So take this into consideration, Fantasia, right? Let's say you are hanging out with your family, watching Game of Thrones. Y'all are all chilling. You got your nieces, nephews, family members, whatever. You know, your whole family. Your mom is there, your dad is there, or his mom and dad. Everybody's chilling. Everyone's having a good time. And then, you ever see the movie Scream?
Yeah.
All right, so the man from Scream comes in, wee, 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 right? He walks in your front door. He walked right in your front door while y'all are watching TV. And he unalive your whole family with a kitchen utensil. You know what I'm saying? I'm being on TikTok friendly. It starts with a K, and it's called a kitchen utensil. You know, it's a K-N-I-F-E. You know what I'm saying? He walks in and unalives your whole family with that K-N-I-F-E. Oh my goodness. There's red stuff all over the place, and it's a gruesome scene. You just watched your whole family get unalived in front of your face. He then decides not to do nothing to you, clean off the knife. Oh, I'm K-N-I-F-E. He starts to clean it off and cut you a piece of cake. Would you eat that cake?
No.
Okay. Some people would. It doesn't mean there's nothing wrong if you would or wouldn't. Some people would eat the cake. Now, why wouldn't you eat that cake?
That's weird.
It is weird. It is weird. It's very weird that you would eat the cake. And see, what the metaphor is saying is the context of how that cake was cut and understanding that you're thinking for a community or thinking for your family, thinking for your people group. Like, eating that cake would be a betrayal to all those that have unalived or been unalived by that same knife. So why would you then decide that it could be beneficial, understanding that you are married to that KNIFE? You're married to someone who is tied to a system of oppression. Now the knife is clean, you know what I'm saying? Or even if he got a new knife, it wouldn't matter. But what? Oh, I know. I keep saying the K word. My bad. My wife knows I'm not supposed to say that. But at the end of the day, you can't say that you are for your people. You can't say that you are pro-black. You know, you can't say that you even care about your context in racism, white supremacy, if you are still willing to lay down with the oppressor that has been the KNIFE in the back of our ancestors. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand that viewpoint.
So you personally can benefit. You personally can say, I see nothing wrong with the cake. The cake didn't do anything. The KNIFE did nothing wrong to me. It didn't hurt me. You know, it's y'all's problem. You know what I'm saying? Even if the child of the Scream dude, you know, gave you a brand new KNIFE, like at the end of the day, the reason that you know a lot of us see certain individuals is not as unproblematic or don't see them as racist is because we don't want to see it. And I think that's the great, you know, that's the great illusion that they put over you. You know what I'm saying?
I definitely see a lot of, we have conversations about a lot of things that we do see as problematic because we have children and
Lord have mercy.
his parents are racist. So we do have to deal with that.
So then, how he not racist if his parents are racist?
He's just not. He
Let me
wasn't.
teach. I'm gonna teach y'all something. Only because we talking to a sister. If we was talking to a Yankee, I wouldn't want to do this. But let me tell you. Let me put y'all on game real quick. In an environment where racism is inherent as the default in society, anti-blackness and racism is the default. That's where their mind goes first. That's what they're taught from a very young age. Before the age of 5. Before the age of 5, they are taught this. That being the case, the only white tea people that would be allies, I'm not saying we have any, but the only white tea people that would be allies would be those that acknowledge that they are racist and work to dismantle it every day. So even if you're trying to say someone is, an anti-racist, that would mean they would have to acknowledge racism, because racism is more like alcoholism. An alcoholic has to wake up every day and decide not to drink alcohol. It doesn't just get easy where one day, they no longer have the urge to drink alcohol. They have to make the conscious choice. Exactly. Dog Mom just said it. The first step is admitting it. So whenever someone tells me that a white person is not racist, my immediate thought is that is a racist white person.
Yeah, he's not. Um, we had a conversation about this recently because he got promoted at work, and the first two guys he hired were black, and he was like, "Oh, I got pulled into the office. They're wondering why, like,
Not the tokenizing.
yeah." He was like, "I wondered why. They're on him a little bit, like, oh, like, how come you're not hiring some of the other candidates? Like, here's some more for you." And it's just weird.
Yeah, he racist.
He's not racist.
Yes, he is, because he
I,
tokenized black people.
because
Tokenizing it comes from racism, ma'am. It's racist.
he's not tokenizing.
Mm. Well, them kids is confused. Let's go, y'all. I gotta go. Them kids gonna be confused as I don't know what. I appreciate you coming up. Black is Beautiful. Dog Mom, King Gino. Everybody, check out Black is Beautiful. She has some very informative lives. She has some good lives. Too. She keeps it B1, and I've seen where they've had constructive conversations in there. She keeps it from going too far off the rails. And everybody also follow Brother Timothy up here. Check out the link in my bio, b1initiative.org. That's our nonprofit. We have a Discord. It's also in my bio. You can click join us. But yeah, we building Sankofapedia. Sankofapedia is an Afrocentric online Wikipedia type site where we're going to give y'all the Afrocentric perspective on world history, and do it in a way that's accessible to everyone so that everyone can learn. So we're not just up here talking. We're Black people on a mission, and we're just here to raise your consciousness, get y'all to think a little bit more. If you want to be part of the true conversation, the real conversation, when it's just us in the room, and not even when I say just us, I don't mean just Black people. I'm talking about Pan-Africans. I'm talking about people that we already understand this topic. We already understand, we're not doing diaspora wars. We're not doing gender wars. We understand. We love Black women. We love Black men. We love Black people. If you want to be in that room and have that conversation with us, then go to b1initiative.org. The link is in my bio, and click the button that says join us and join our Discord. We have meetings every Sunday at 2 p.m. Central Time. Also, Brother Quan down here, where he says, appreciate the live. Keep it up. Good work, bro. Appreciate you, Brother Quan. But that brother right there, you need to follow him if you're a Pan-African Garveyite. All of you thin-lipped, mayonnaise-licking, people that can't see their lips when they close their mouth, don't follow no one I just said. Please be about your day. You shouldn't even be here. Go to sleep. Game of Thrones is about to come on. Go watch that or something. You know what I'm saying? Only people I want following these people is people that eat sweet potato pie and put marshmallows on their yams. If you put marshmallows on your, only people I'm talking to is people that use Blue Magic hair grease and know what a hot comb smell like. All right? Anybody else, y'all could go somewhere. Y'all can go ahead and have you a good night. One love, peace and power, Black power, free the land, free Congo, free Haiti, free Sudan, free Black people everywhere, Black laws for Black people, for Black liberation, all across the globe. I'm going to talk to y'all tomorrow. One love. Peace.